Hello and welcome to another set of turns of Dominions 5. We are playing as Pangaea in our Disciples game. We are on turn 64. So, we got problems. We have a great many problems. Because I was under the impression that we had, because you can see down here, there's no little we won the game message, even though we were standing on all the thrones. We kind of had a bit of a whoopsie and only claimed 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22. Because the Shattered Throne, we forgot to claim. So this one really hurt. It doubly hurt. Wow. Okay. So as you can see also, we got absolutely raided to shit by Lanka. We're not going to go through all these because there's a million of them. I didn't put in any orders last turn because I was under the impression that we had won the game. So this is one of the things that can happen in a team game, is when not everyone is quite on the same page, you can have problems. So you can see we have substantial problems as we've lost half of our provinces in one go, more or less, without successfully getting the requisite number of points to win. So now the throne, the Shattered Throne, is perfectly safe. The question is, can we hold the other thrones? We can also see that this throne Helheim took and has put a 3 red seconds on it, a Citadel of Power. So not going to be quite as easy to take as it might have been before. So what are we going to do? The Throne of Death has been popped. And there's no way to get enough troops here. And like I mentioned many moons ago when I was talking about an oopsie, there's no lab here, so we can't gem anybody up to defend it. Given that we cannot gem anybody up to defend it, everyone who can sneak out is going to sneak out. Because there's no sense. They're just going to die. There's no sense. We can't hold it. Up in the homeland, we're going to send out counter-raiding parties. All of our counter-raiding parties are basically vampires. And we're going to start marching north to challenge the Citadel of Power. And see if we can't reclaim an extra throne this way. Now, we can lose this throne and still win the game if we can claim the Shattered Throne this turn without losing any other thrones. So, that's what needs to happen. Disaster is in the air. There's a lot of Lanka here. We'll just look at a couple. They're mostly using the same. They've got a couple of cool troops fixed in here. Mostly it's a vampire who's just doing Horde of Skeletons. And they have the monkey dead as well, which is neat. Let's see. I think I don't remember if we saw any of the other cool ones too far into our lands. There's a Bane here. With Boots of the Messenger, Soul Vortex, the usual. Let's check out this army. So great big hordes of garbage, plus some draconians, and then lots of mages in the middle here. Bottle of Living Water. That Bottle of Living Water spawned elementals all the way out here. That's how tightly packed everything is. You can see whole lines of blood slaves. There's Rakshazi. There's an Apsara. I think the easiest way to look at that, there's a lot of enemy mages. Now, a lot of these are probably going to be communion slaves, but not all of them. So I don't have a strong plan for dealing with this. We'll see. We'll let it play. Obviously, this won't be what they normally cast because there's not enough here to fight against. So they're just gonna do sort of whatever. They're fighting Menaids. Got a bull here. Or an ox. Nope, a water buffalo. That's the one. So that's a big, scary army. I don't have an immediate plan to deal with that. We're gonna need to bring these troops back home, and we're gonna need to send. For now, we don't have enough money, obviously, to do anything, and we don't have a lab here either, and we have no money to build one. So that's pretty unfortunate. You can see we don't really have. Our income is higher than our treasury, or our upkeep is higher than our income. So what I opted to do is I'm not going to challenge this army in the field as it stands. I believe our best chance of winning is counter raiding with our vampires and protecting what we can in terms of thrones, which would be this one is one of our more exposed. This one is also exposed, but there's really no defending this one very easily. And we don't immediately see any threats to it. So we're going to try and reopen this line, or this region, so that we can then move troops and mages to reinforce this throne, while this army stays here. It should be okay as long as we claim the Shattered Throne this turn. We shouldn't have any problems, because that should be enough. We lose 1, we lose 2 points, pick up 3 points, and we end up at exactly where we are supposed to be. Our ally was attacked as well. And so we'll have to see how Ubar responds. Arpatheus, I believe, largely is unscathed at this time. He did not get hit by Helheim. And I think Helheim at this point is really his only border. One border here. So, and I guess he's got Oceania to worry about as well. But Helheim doesn't appear to have struck out when Lanka did. Not sure if they're busy doing something else or sort of what that deal is. This is rough. So, all right, let's go ahead and check out turn 66, and we can see that Arpatheus will have claimed the last throne, and we can have won the game. So this is neither. Oh, I lost 66. What? Oops. Neither Arpatheus nor Ubar's players have at this point won a game. I guess we'll just have to go to 67 because I appear to have lost 66, which is sort of tragic. I was a bit distraught because let me tell you what doesn't happen on turn 66. We do not claim the throne. And this was doubly annoying because I was pretty sure that I had logged in to Arpatheus' turn to see that he could make it. I think that happened. If it's wrong, I apologize, Arpatheus. But I thought he could have made it. But I was somewhat. I had been very, very pleased with the notion of just winning the game, and was less pleased with the notion of having to go and fight to win the game. But that's sort of where we are. You can see we did lots of counter raiding with our own vampire squads, and we're pushing back. No one has come to claim this throne, but we certainly lost this one. Our fortification here is holding for now. We've got a large army here as well. We're going to try and make make life hell for the people who are after us. We're going to seduce with some of our dryads. We're still holding this. We moved our forces to see if we can challenge. So that was, that was a thing. But the really disheartening piece is, so the rest of our thrones are okay. The rest of Ubar's thrones are okay. The disheartening piece is last turn. Oh man, it's a real shame that I didn't save the turn. Last turn, Helheim walked in with, I think it was like 80 mages. It was like an army of what are they called? It looked like an army of Hellherdings, but none of them were Hellherdings. All of them were mages, plus the god. Huge number of them. They walked in, one turn popped our fort. And without this fort, even if we claimed the Throne of Sorcery, or the Shattered Throne, we would not have enough points. Now, we do have Ubar is sieging, and I'm moving as well, to try and take this from Helheim. But if we lose this, we don't get to keep the fort, or we don't have enough points to win the game. You can see Ubar is lashing out over here. But actually, we can probably look at these, and we'll probably see a bunch of the army I was talking about. So there's a handful of mages, and again, these are all mages. There are no troops there. That's one. And basically, you're going to see that there's these, there's balls of mages, mostly Van Jarls, who have attacked into Satis. So you sort of get my point. There's a lot of Hell Herdings and Van Jarls, etc., that attacked into Satis. But what's really freaking hilarious is this. Special monsters attack Helheim. We sent in an Ashen Angel. Okay, this part is less hilarious and more just sort of normal. That just went ahead and scared that guy off there. I think this is probably another one. It is. But we'll go through these in order. Getting some good stabs in. He's actually not getting any good stabs in. He's just making him run away. Here, I believe we Ashen Angeled our own mage. Which, is never really where you want to be, but it happens. I do believe that we sent that. And now, Independence, this is the Earth event. This is the Earth portion of the Throne of Elements, which is attacking the Helheim units that were standing on top of our throne that they didn't storm. And then they run through and they get killed. They get killed. So now, when there's Independence on top, unless there is a stealthed Helheim army on this fortification, which isn't breached, basically there's no way for them to get back on top of it. They were standing, they one turn popped it. If they'd stormed, they would have prevented us from taking the thrones, and they didn't. We get another stay of execution and another chance to capture the stupid Shattered Throne, and we can look at him right there. Lizard King, he is ready. Also, by the way, the hilarious pixely nature of some of these pieces looks hilarious next to the much higher textured other things. But that lizard is standing, and he's ready. He's ready to capture the stupid throne. And we are going to, once again, we're going to attack. I have lost some amount of faith at this point in terms of us actually capturing the throne, so I do a lot more of my planned attacks. But let's go to 67, or let's go to 68, because there's nothing that should be able to stop us, and indeed, this time there isn't. And we are able to claim victory. This is Ubar, I believe Ubar and Satis' first victory. This is my second. The other one being the Baratos victory. Let's go up on the channel anyway. This is my first Disciples win. There's 1,000 battles. We are just getting picked over. Let's look at the score graphs. You can see that we just got obliterated by Lanka. Like even when we're winning the game, we're going down. All of us went down. In income, you can see Ubar is head and shoulders above everyone. Lanka, let's see, not Lanka. Who is that's up there with us? Oh, Satis. Okay, that makes sense. Now, who's the brown? Is it Niflheim then? Yeah, Niflheim. So you can see we're ahead, though not a huge amount over like Niflheim and some of the other game leaders. We're probably. Niflheim, we're very close against some of his allies. We're maybe a little bit less than double. Ubar though, right, is on another level of income. Ditto for his gems, which are insane. So when you think about how many gems a nation has access to, right, you basically are comparing the overall amount of area under the graph. And there's a whole giant chonky area here of gems. Up in research, the army size obviously for Lanka is huge, but we are able to take this win. I was in the pit of despair after we failed to secure all the thrones the first time, but luckily a Helheim punt combined with a key intervention from the forces of the earth were able to punt the game back to us and allow us to win. Now, even if we did not win right here, we were certainly not lost. I have huge income problems. That's very true. But Ubar and Zatis don't to the same extent. And they could do some amount of funding me. Ubar is also on his way to capture this, and I went ahead and added a whole bunch of troops to help to help siege it down. So even if Helheim hadn't punted, I think we had not lost the game, though it would have been much harder. But yeah, ultimately just tremendously fortunate to get away with this one after where we were. So yeah, but I want to say thanks to Ubar and Satis for playing. I had a great time. Dominions is one of those games sometimes where, especially when you're playing by yourself, right, it can be a little bit of a paranoid game. Right? You don't know what the other players are doing. Many people have joked that it's more fun to talk about Dominions than it is to play Dominions. But when you have a Disciples game, you get to be talking to your teammates. You get to sort of have that fun social experience. So I really appreciated them joining me. I'm happy that we could manage to take this win and take it down. Ubar definitely carrying us to some degree, a lot of degree, I think. So yeah, it's pretty fun. So unlike the Baratos game, I'm not going to try and go through every province here and look for stuff. This is a much larger map, and we've been sort of going through the statistics a little bit more throughout, and also because like Ubar is so far ahead, it's hard to tell like what the heck else is going on. I mean, you can see Baratos takes a dive real early. They were top income for a hot second there before they got obliterated. But so sad day to be Baratos. Yeah. That's the game. Thanks for everybody who stuck with me on this one. I know the last couple turns were sort of not the most exciting, and a big part of that is my fault because I thought that we were winning the game, so I wasn't doing anything. But it should be a cautionary tale. You should not do as I do. You should continue to play the game even when you think you've won, because I have now thought I've won and failed to take game actions twice in both of my wins, and just was lucky enough not to get punished because we missed it in Baratos 2 when we just forgot to claim a throne. So Satis is not alone. Anyway, the moral of the story is you should keep playing all the turns like you're not going to win, and you should make an Excel spreadsheet when you need to capture lots of thrones all at once. But I think looking back on our draft and our build, the Bless didn't really come up, I would say. I don't think that our White Centaur ever really fought a whole heck of a lot of Sacreds. But the idea was it was supposed to defend us early, and we didn't really have anyone attack us early, so that part's fine. You know, I liked the scales, I think, were pretty mandatory, and the Dormant God was pretty mandatory for Ubar. I liked the idea of sort of having Ubar as a carry and a build around. I think was definitely very effective. I think that Ubar, this is something that's kind of interesting, because I don't know if it's just this game or if it's something necessarily for all disciples. When Ubar is in a game, you tend to see people take a lot of magic weapons, and potentially some spirit sight. You know, it's sort of one of the nations where if you don't take those things, you can get yourself in a bit of a pickle. And if you do take them, it can make playing against them a lot easier. And when you're playing a Disciples game, everybody gets the same bless. And so those things, those staples in some ways seem like they should be easy to pick. But because everybody gets the same bless and everyone has to work with the same scales and all the needs, if you have nations that have different needs, it's hard to afford those extra safe bits potentially, right? If you're Niflheim, you're trying to afford regeneration and other stuff. Or if, I don't remember what Helheim's Bless is off the top of my head, but, you know, if you're trying to sort of work with your teammates, you may not end up with some of those pieces that you need because you've spent too many points trying to shuffle the rest of your stuff around to make it work out. So I'm not sure if that's how it always goes for Disciples games. People also, I think, are just having fun with Disciples games, and doing things like taking an all resistance blessed with spirit sight and magic weapons is just like super boring. Like very good, should probably do it. Pretty boring. So that also may be the case, right? This is not the most serious game when it's 3-person Disciples, but yeah, pretty happy to get away with it here. We'll see if we can't get Satis and Ubar in the comments at least. I'm recording this way after the game ended, so I think that we've mostly forgotten what happened at this point. And I want to actually pause here and go way back because there's a funny event that happens, and I kept looking for it and I just couldn't find it. So we're gonna pause and see if I can find it. Okay, after doing something I could not find it, but I'll just have to describe it. So at one point, Ubar sent a Shaitan to Lanka's capital, where he was attempting to steal his score graphs, and instead got patrolled out and killed all the patrollers in Cat PD on Lanka's capital, which created a bit of an international incident for us. But luckily it was early enough in the game that Lanka was still sort of fully at war with Agartha, and so couldn't do anything. I would say a huge part of our win here is really that everybody else fought Team Agartha, and the Team Agartha held on for a tremendously long time. I mean, I think they were fighting somewhere in the 20s or 30s, and it's turned 68, and Agartha still has flags. I was about to say they still have an Earth Reader too, or an Oracle of the Dead, but that's actually our stolen Oracle of the Dead. So there's a question there of, were people in a bad war, or is it something unavoidable and we just are super lucky to be able to not get involved and pick up the spoils, essentially. Now, we fought, our war against Team Blood was a straight 1v1, so we didn't do anything too bad there. But everybody else really just burning their lives and treasure on fighting into Agartha meant that we didn't have to, and that they were all weakened by it. So that's a pretty big part of, I think, why we were able to get so large and pull ahead and sort of take all the thrones. It is, yeah. So I don't know to what degree people were paying attention such that we had successfully actually, disguised that we had all the thrones as opposed to claiming them. Not sure. But in any event, we managed to get over the victory line. Very happy for my teammates, or very, very thankful to have my teammates play with me. Super happy to bring the game to everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, we're going to be moving from here. I think we've got Fascia, where unfortunately we've sort of caught up to the game a little bit. So we're trying to get some more turns done there. We had some people we've had some extensions. We lost a player, but we found a new one. So trying to get that running again. I think we've got EA Relay as well to talk about, and then a Hellenica game that I have joined, which is in the early turns. We got to like turn 8 and had to restart, which was a bit of an oof. So that one is taking slightly longer to get started than we might otherwise like, but happens. I'm trying to remember why we restarted. I think that we didn't load the mod successfully and it messed somebody up, but we also didn't put the right number of thrones in the game. So that was good to fix that as well. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I will see you all in another series. I hope you enjoyed this one, and have a great day.